Hello class, if you are watching this, that means you have finished your sky background and your cityscape inspired by James Rizzi. Today we will need scissors, a glue stick, and some cardboard if we have it. If we don't have cardboard, we can use some pieces of paper folded like a little zigzag. So we're going to need our background and our city. So now is the time where we are going to cut out our cityscape. So all of our buildings should be right next to each other, touching. That way we do not need to worry about cutting in between each building. As you can see, I'm turning my paper to cut around the curves of the top of my buildings. And I'm just very carefully going along the top of the buildings. That's the only spot that I am cutting. Now that you have your city cut out and your background ready, you're going to need your glue. Now before you start gluing, you can just glue it flat, that's perfectly fine. But I want to make it look three-dimensional. So that's where my little pieces of cardboard are going to come in. I'm taking note of where the highest points are on my buildings, and I'm flipping that paper over to the back. Now I'm going to get my glue and put some glue on the very tall parts of the building. We want to make sure we put our cardboard on those really high points. Along with the high points of the building, you're also going to want cardboard on the very bottom two corners. If you want to put more cardboard throughout the back of your image, you can do that as well. But the most important parts are the very top and the very bottom. So here I am carefully gluing my little pieces of cardboard. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you don't have cardboard, that's perfectly okay. You can use anything to raise the image a little bit. So you can cut some paper and fold it like a little zigzag to make a spring. I'll show you how to do that in class. And you're just going to glue it to the back. And as you can see, now our city is actually raised up off of the background. I wasn't quite happy with mine. I wanted it to be a little bit more lifted. So I'm adding another layer of cardboard to each of the spots that I already have cardboard. I'm basically just making each piece a little bit thicker by adding an additional piece. Your cardboard might be thicker, so that's perfect. You probably won't have to do this step. But I'm just showing you that if you want your buildings to be a little bit more elevated off of your background, you can always add some more. So once you flip it over and you're happy with it, now we're going to do our final layer of glue so it can actually stick to our sky background we made. So my pieces of cardboard were still a little bit wet, so they're sliding, but just hold it carefully and get that layer of glue on the very top surface. That way it will stick. Don't worry about putting glue on your whole paper. You only need the glue where the cardboard is going to touch the paper. You don't need to glue anything else. Now I'm just pressing where I put that cardboard, making sure it's nice and stuck to my background. And here we have an awesome three-dimensional cityscape inspired by James Rizzi. How cool is this? If you want to create another layer to go on top with some cars, some people. I know some of you are interested in doing that. You can follow along the same steps we did for this layer to create a third layer. That is completely up to you, but I hope you have fun and enjoy this project.